Testing, testing, testing. Testing. Seeing what's happening. Alright, it looks like I'm here. Go here. Alright, hopefully we can get everybody moved over. So it looks like everything's being a pain again. But it looks like we're getting it sorted out. I still don't know what the problem is. It's giving me trouble when I make a stream ahead of time, which wasn't a problem at all before. But now it is. So, okay, hearing. Perfect. Glad to hear it. We're going to get started here in just a second. Oh, excuse me. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, Carol Christensen's here. We got the crew coming in now. We got Gary. Oh, welcome back out, Gary. We got Barbara back. Oh, once again, some good and loyal students here tonight. Okay, so tonight we are going to be talking about how to use the sustain pedal. It's going to be an interesting lesson because I had to position the camera really strange manner underneath my foot, or not underneath my foot, but like to the side, so you can probably see it over here. So I'm bringing this up because there's probably a good chance that I might forget it's behind me here, and I might hit it and knock it over, and I might curse or I might not. So just throwing that out there. Of course I'm joking, but there is a good chance I will knock it down. All right, welcome out, everybody. Hopefully everybody is having a fantastic evening. I'm doing pretty well, despite the few technological mishaps we've had today. They're ironing out slowly. I still don't know what the issue is. I need to do more testing. I already did testing. Of course, everything worked fine when I did it before, but something about, making the stream ahead of time, which wasn't a problem before, now is. Okay, let's get started here. All right, Kay's on here too. Perfect. All right, let's get rolling here. So just give me a second. Let me start the Facebook stream, and we'll be ready to go. Hello, students. All right, we should be good to go now on Facebook as well. All right, hello, students, and welcome back to our classroom. Tim back here from Piano Lessons on the Web, and if it's your first time out experiencing this classroom with us, I'd like you to like the page if you're watching on Facebook, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, because we have new live lessons coming out every Friday and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you don't want to miss out, and there will be other lessons peppered out in between. Today we are talking about how to use the pedal on piano. So just give me a second to set up one or two more things. It'll only take literally like a couple seconds here. Okay, I think we're probably good now. Okay, great. So let's get a move on. All right. Okay, and I would also oh, it's giving me trouble now. There we go. I would also like you to share this lesson, because the more students we have in attendance, the better of a discussion we'll have, and the better of a class and experience that we will all have. Okay. Hello, students, and welcome back to the classroom. Today I'm going to show you how the sustain pedal works. And one thing I want to explain first is that there are 3 pedals on the piano, with most pianos anyway, but you'll mainly be using one called the sustain pedal. And if you have the type of piano with 3 pedals, it's the one all the way on the right. If you have a keyboard or something and it only has 1 pedal, chances are that's going to be your sustain pedal, since that's really the only one you're going to be using. The other 2 are the soft pedal and sostenuto, are not used very much at all. So I'm going to show you how this works, because it's something I've actually never covered on the channel before, even though it's so simple. Okay, I want to talk about what the sustain pedal does. So when you hold down the pedal and press a key, the note will keep ringing, thus the name sustain pedal. So let me take a look here. Sorry, I meant to press this one. So hopefully you can see my pedal down here in the corner. So whenever I press this pedal down and I press a note over here on the piano, it keeps ringing the note, while, normally if I pressed it real short on the piano, it would just stop as a staccato note. So it's called the sustain pedal because it sustains the notes together, and it's really used for blending. It's really good for, especially if you can't reach some kind of harmony, like some sort of big chord you can't quite reach, something like that. You can hold down the pedal and roll the chord. So there's many uses for the pedal, and it's used in many pieces. All right, let's take a look here at what we got next. Okay, there's 2 main pedal symbols, and then you might even see a combination of the 2 things I'm going to show you here. The first one is, it's literally just PED. So whenever you see PED, pedal, you're going to hold it down. Whenever you see PED again, you're going to actually, you're actually going to pop up the pedal really quick and put it back down. So you have, so you're going to not have it down, and then it's going to say PED, you're going to have it down. And then every time it says PED, you're going to lift up real quick like that, and then press it down again. The whole point of doing that is so there's a break in the sound, so you are not constantly, well, actually, I'll show you. So if I play like the beginning of Fur Elise here. Actually, let me bring this up. So I'm playing Fur Elise. And I keep it held down the whole time. You hear that? It's not as prominent in Fur Elise, but in a lot of other pieces, you can hear it bleeding over, and it really sounds pretty bad in a lot of cases. So if you are where you have it down and you pop it up really quick between measures, that helps break up the sound and the harmonies, so the harmonies do not blend together and thus sound so terrible. So that's what that's about. When you see the star, the little star at the end there, I'll bring it back up here on the screen. That means you are actually just going to lift up your foot until it says PED once again. Okay, let's take a look at the other type of symbol. All right, anybody that is attending out tonight, welcome out to our classroom. If you're new here and you think I'm ignoring you, I am not, I promise you. I like to get through the main part of the lesson first, which will just be another few minutes, and then I'll go through and say hello to everybody, just to let you know in case you're new here. Okay, we're going to talk about the pedal line now, which is the pedal symbol now, or pedal line, I guess you could say, which now the PED has been replaced with this horizontal line that goes below the note. So that means that in the beginning there, where you have that vertical line down, that's when you're going to press down the pedal, and then every time you're going to hold it down as that line goes across, and every time you see that little spike there, you're going to pop up the pedal. Actually, let me show you here. Oh man, hold on. I'm all out of sorts today, but here we go. We got it. All right, so anyway, you're playing along, and then you have the beginning of that line. So you're going to hold it down, and every time you see that spike, you're going to lift up. It's just exactly like the PED. Before you have PED, you're holding it down, and every time you have PED again, you're popping up the pedal again really quick. And then once the line ends, that's when you'll take your foot off the pedal. Another quick tip I have for you, I'm going to bring this up now so I don't forget, is you do not want to, actually you don't want to do it the way I did it, where you have your foot on the pedal and then you take it off and then you put it on again. What will happen then is you might not be prepared to have your pedal down, especially if you have more pedal coming up in the piece. So I recommend kind of like how you drive a car, where you have your heel on the floor and then you're using, you know, the tips of your foot. It also helps really to have shoes on. It hurts to use the pedal without shoes. So anyway, you want to kind of just have your foot hovering over it with your heel on the ground, and then using it just like you would like a gas pedal. Although I understand that not every student in attendance has used a car. Or you might not use a car the same way. All right, and that's basically how it works. So line horizontal across, you have it down. Spikes, you pop it up. And that's exactly how it works. So if I'm playing, actually I practiced this piece ahead of time. This is like an example here. Let me see what I can do. So let me take a look at this so I can play it for you. Show you how it's done. Okay. There you go. I think now you can see it. So I just wanted to make sure you could see. All right, let me see what I'm doing here. Okay, F and C. There we go. So let me try it a couple more times. I got this cable going on here. Sorry about that. It's cable madness today. It's like March Madness with cables. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to show you one more time. So here we go. So I'm getting started. The first note I hit, I don't have the pedal down. And then as you can see in the first full measure, when I hit that left-hand note, then I'm going to have the pedal down right there. And then the beginning of each measure, where that spike is, I'm going to pop it up really quick, but then right back down. So that's how they both work the exact same way. That's how the two cymbals work. All right, let's take a look at what we have next. I want to talk about what if there is no cymbal, which happens a lot. And some music doesn't require pedal, like a lot of Bach. You want to use pedal very lightly, if at all. But sometimes there's no pedal markings when you should be adding some sort of pedal, or maybe you want to add pedal. The general rule is that if there's no markings, is to use the pedal during legatos and when notes are meant to be blended together. So little to no pedal with staccatos, right? Since the whole point of that is to play the notes short, and that kind of defeats the purpose. Because, right, I can play staccato, or I can play, well, it's like, well, that doesn't really sound much different with the pedal down if I just play the notes longer. So use it where it makes sense. Legatos, you're really supposed to be blending the notes together anyway to create those melodic lines. So use it where it makes sense. You want to lift up the pedal every chord change. This is very important. So if you notice when we were talking about the lines and the spikes going up, those usually happen 99% of the time whenever a chord changes. So you'd have it down here, and now you're going to pop up right here. Oh wait, I guess I should show you what I'm doing, right? So if I'm playing Für Elise, wait, hold on. So I'm playing Für Elise. I have it down here, but now in this measure there's a different chord going on, so I'm going to pop it up and then again. So it usually happens once every measure, but not always. Sometimes you can have the same chord for a while. I recommend if you have the same chord, though, for more than 2 measures to pop up your pedal anyway, because you'll start to have a lot of notes blend together, and the melody, and you don't really want that either. Okay, that does it. I knew it was going to be a short lesson, but it was a good one. It went surprisingly well, I think. I was a little bit worried. Let's bring it back to me so you can see what's happening here. I was a little bit worried because I have the camera position so oddly next to me, but it's working out fine. Once I get the new studio, I'm probably going to do figure out ahead of time where I'm going to position the pedal camera in case it ever comes up again, because it probably will. But I think it works for this lesson here. All right, let me say hi to some people. Fireflower, I saw as I was going on, was not able to attend the stream last week, and I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like you had tonsillitis. Is that right? Yeah, because Adria says, what is tonsillitis? So your tonsils become inflamed. All right, thank you very much, Grace. I'm glad you liked the lesson. We have Julio back here once again. Actually, I did this lesson purely on your suggestion. I didn't want to do it because, I wasn't sure how many people were looking for this type of lesson. But then, as more and more comments came on, I looked on YouTube, and there actually aren't a whole lot of lessons on how to use the foot pedal. So I figured, why not get one in there? It's all good information, says Cecilia. My pedals still have the plastic on them, as I never use them. Thank you. So, Cecilia, like I said, 2 of the pedals you're never going to really need. If you have that third pedal, the one all the way to the right, start using that sustain pedal, especially where you see those pedal markings. Tanny asks a great question. Why aren't the other pedals used often? I can't tell you for sure, but one, at least from what my piano teacher in college always said, was that, so first of all, the one all the way on the left is usually the soft pedal. The one in the middle is what I jokingly call the mystery pedal, and that is because on different pianos it does different things. On some pianos, what it does is it's a lockdown soft pedal. So the left one's soft pedal, where when you have it held down, it's soft. With the held down one is you push down the pedal and move it to the left or the right, and then that keeps the softness, throughout the whole thing, and you don't have to keep your foot down. But on some, it's a sostenuto pedal, which holds down certain notes and chords and things like that, certain bass notes. So those aren't just used very much, at least in my experience. Some other students may use them, but I was always told by my professor in college that using the soft pedal, unless it's pianissimo, which is the triple P's, is cheating. That you should accomplish pianissimo or piano in the dynamic ranges using your arm weight, using your, not so much wrist, but really your arm weight, really being able to do it with your arms, get more or less sound with that. Using that other pedal is a crutch in a lot of cases, and I find that a lot of students will overuse it and abuse it that way. The sostenuto pedal, I'm not sure of. Probably also because you could use that as a crutch. It helps you hold certain notes down in certain instances when you should really be doing that with your fingers anyway. Now, you may be asking, do people abuse this the sustain pedal? And the answer is absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. Some ways that students overuse the sustain pedal is they'll use it to cover up for mistakes. Like they'll know the hard part is coming up in the song. So really they'll use a lot of pedal thinking that they're going to trick their teacher or the audience into thinking it's good, because all the notes will be blended together so much that you're not really going to be able to tell. But anybody with a trained ear probably will. Oh, let's see. We got Bernadine, if I am pronouncing your name right. First time here. Hello to all. Well, welcome out. So happy that you could join us in our classroom. Anybody that's new here, or if you're not in the know already, we meet Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we meet almost every Friday, almost every Sunday, so long as there's not some kind of holiday going on or my computer's not blowing up like it has in the last few weeks or something like that. So I appreciate everybody coming out here if you're new or returning, and you're always welcome back to our classroom. Like I said, the more people in attendance, generally, not generally, all the time, we have a much better lesson because we have these great discussions after. People come up with great questions, and we all learn a lot more. And yeah, Gracie, or Grace rather, is here for the first time too. So welcome out, Grace, and welcome Bernadine. Oh, we got Rokilo, if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. Welcome out. So happy that it's your first time here, and you're welcome to come back anytime. I hope everybody thought today's lesson was helpful. We're not going yet. We have quite a few minutes. We usually go up until the hour. Might cut it a little early depending on what happens, but usually we go an hour in case you want to schedule out your time appropriately. Okay, Tim, what happened if you have interlock chords? Which one do you use the pedal with? That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by interlocked chords. Like if you have chord in one hand and then the other, well, you really can't split that up. So I think you just kind of have to use it. You know what though? If you have something like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. That's the problem I'm having, like conceptualizing here. Because if you have two different chords going on, you probably shouldn't use much pedal at all. You can always half pedal things, by the way, where you have the pedal half down. Now it doesn't work for my keyboard because I don't know if you know about digital and analog, whereas a pedal on a real mechanical piano is more of an, I wouldn't even call it analog, but basically what analog means is that there's a range of values for something. So you can have the pedal half down on a piano. The reason you can't do it on an electronic keyboard, or at least most pedals I've ever seen, is because the pedal is a digital signal, meaning that it's either on or off. So when you half pedal something, when it gets to the point where the contact isn't being made electronically, it's not sending that signal to the keyboard to sustain the notes. So it's either on or off. Whereas a piano, you can half pedal things. You can flutter pedal where you have it like kind of going up and down a bit. It takes quite a bit getting used to do well, but there are certainly some circumstances where you'll want to use less pedal or, halfway through. Okay, we got Barbara says, one of the pedals on my very old upright would lower a piece, fell over all the hammers. Yeah. So that happens as well with a lot of the soft pedals. I was told it was a practice pedal. Yeah, maybe you could use it for practice. So sustain pedals and damper pedals are pretty much the same in what they do. The damper I think the sustain pedal and damper pedal are the same pedal, actually. I think it's just two interchangeable words. Now, if I got it right, the sustain pedal and the sostenuto pedal are not the same. You know what I'm going to do, though? So I don't ruin everybody's education here. We are going to look this up together just to double check. 99% of the time when we do this, we're good. But okay, let me just type in like the 3 pedals on piano. Okay, here we go. All right, let me bring us into the fold here, show you what I'm working here. Okay, so piano pedals from left to right. It says here on Wikipedia. Soft pedal, I can confirm that. Sostenuto pedal in the middle, and then sustain pedal. Yep. And then the damper pedal, let's look here. It actually has a definition. The damper pedal, sustain pedal, or sustaining pedal is to the right of the other pedal. So, yep, they are all indeed the same and is used more often than the other pedals. As I say, see, I wasn't lying to you. I wouldn't lie to you. I think it's so funny sometimes, every once in a while, on a rare occasion, I'll be talking to a younger student, and they won't believe me. Like when I tell them something. It's very rare. Like the last time it happened was like last Friday. Or no, this week on Tuesday. I had a student, he just turned 6 a few months ago, so he's very young. And I was trying to explain to him, sorry for going off on a tangent, but I just thought it was kind of relevant. I was trying to explain to him that the lines and spaces for the treble clef are different than the lines and spaces of the bass clef. And he didn't believe me. He thought, the bottom line is always an E no matter what. And I did start out telling him something similar, like, okay, the one on the bottom's always E, but I was only talking about the treble clef. So I think when he found out there was another clef and it was different, he had a bit of a meltdown, you know, like some adults do over that, where they're like, why are they different? Well, you know, I can't explain exactly why, but the whole thing is set up so everything meets together in middle C. But anyway, back to our discussion on pedals, is that as you can see, the pedals are the damper / sustain pedal, the sostenuto pedal in the middle, and then, soft pedal, sostenuto pedal, and then sustain pedal from left to right. Oh, okay. It was called the practice pedal, says Barbara, to quiet the piano so you can practice without disturbing others. That makes sense, because pianos, obviously, if you have a piano in your house, I do have one upstairs, but I almost never play it. A piano, especially a grand piano, but even some uprights, they create a lot of sound. And if you have somebody that's trying to sleep or something, they are going to hear the piano in your house. Like your piano, I think, puts out a bit more sound than you probably think playing in front of it. But you know, like if you have somebody else in your house who plays piano and they start playing piano, you can probably tell almost no matter what room you're in, almost. Depends on how big your house is, or what's going on there. Isn't that just the soft pedal, says Grace? Yeah, so the practice pedal is the soft pedal. I believe that Barbara was saying her teacher referred to it as the practice, so you can put it down and then play when others are around. I use my soft pedal sometimes for my family. I have 8 people in my home. So yeah, that's probably where you do want to use the soft pedal. But I think that's probably why my teacher now said that it was cheating, because it's really not for getting your sound softer in terms of performance, but it is for getting your sound softer in terms of disturbing others, perhaps. I haven't really even thought about that. That makes a lot of sense to me. See, I learn just as much as you do. Maybe not just as much, but I learn along with everybody else as well. Julio says, actually, there's a damper pedal for digital pianos that has a half pedal function. Really? It's not restricted to acoustics. I did not know that. I'm going to have to get one of those because I miss half pedaling. No, there's okay. There's a separate soft pedal. This pedal was extra soft. Okay. I know what you're talking about, because I have come across that only once before. I know what student it is. And their piano, which is actually a pretty nice piano, does have 2 soft pedals. And I was wondering what that was about, because the one makes it sound like all the keys are actually muted, and the other one was like your standard soft pedal. By the way, the soft pedal, the real soft pedal, not the practice one, isn't supposed to make it, like, it's pretty subtle. Like, you really have to know, you know, how hard to hit your keys and, you know, how much sound that gives to really figure that out. But it's not supposed to make it way, way lower. Isn't as loud as a drum set, says Salvador. I agree. I apologize to anybody if I have missed your question. I'm a little bit hesitant to go over and scroll up. You know what? Now that the lesson's over, though, I can move the camera, can't I? Because I already showed you how it works. And you know what? I'm going to do that. So now I can go back and see if I missed any questions. Why are some pedals harder to push? I'm not sure. That's just how somebody mechanically made your pedals. I found that on some pianos that's true. Also, you know what it could be? It could be that you use some pedals more than the others. So, you know, maybe when a piano is brand new, they're all kind of stiff. And as you use them, they loosen up. That makes sense to me. It probably depends on the piano and what's going on. I'm really not sure. Hey, we got, Rahulio says, new, so I saw that before. The for at least tutorial was one that I had been waiting for. Thanks for doing that tutorial, Tim. Thank you very much, Fireflower. By the way, that, the edited version of that is coming out tomorrow morning. I think you're really going to like the thumbnail that I made for it, because it's extra silly, if you're wondering why I'm so enthusiastic about the thumbnail. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the previous questions. If you felt like you answered a really important question, I missed it, bring it up again. Also, if you believe it as a super chat, then I'll definitely get it because it appears up top above everybody else's for me. Okay, while some more... Oh, wait, let me get some more. You missed my question, Tim. Sorry, Fireflower. Let me find Fireflower. Fireflower says, okay, good question. When you learn a piece for the first time, should you already include the pedal or focus more on the notes first? I've always been really good at using the pedal to where like I don't even really have to think about it much. I just have good pedal technique. Some people have to think about it a bit more. It depends on who you are and how long you've been playing piano. If you're just starting out or you're in the earlier stages or maybe even early intermediate, you might not want to put in the pedal right away. But it just depends on yourself. Like if you feel like you can handle it while concentrating on all the notes, then do that. So it just depends on where you are in your learning process. I've been playing for many years, so immediately I can start playing hands together and with the foot pedal and things like that. So I personally do. Okay, let's see. I knew a horn player who practiced in his car because the horn was so loud it disturbed others in his house. I have a problem where my fingers always slip on acoustic pianos, but in digital pianos it's fine. Yeah, it just depends. Every piano is a little bit different. Every piano has a different feel. We got Adria here again. Adria says, have another question. I was doing a music lesson. Word search. Oh, I saw that in the group. Okay. And saw some words. I'm not sure what they mean. The words are atonal, cantabile, energico, consonants, graziosos, and espressivo. So I can answer a few of these, most of them actually. Atonal means that it's not in a key. So you know how we've been talking about, especially recently, I think you've been here for a lot of these, Adria, where, if you're playing in the key of C, you have 0 sharps, 0 flats, and a lot of the notes center around C as well. So if you remember that, what atonal means is that there's no tonal center. And it also means that you can really have any sharps or flats going on. It's really not based around a normal key signature. So instead of like playing a normal scale like this, it might be like something like that, just as an example. It's just something really, really out there compared to common practice music common practice music theory that we see so much. Let's see. A cantabile means song-like. So if you want to play, if it says cantabile in your music, you want to make sure that you're doing the slurs correctly to get the melody almost like somebody is singing it. We have energico, that means energetic, to play, maybe quickly and nimbly. We got consonants. What consonants means is that it's something that sounds good when played together. And dissonance is something that does not sound good when played together. Grazioso, I think, means grand. I mean, you can look these up as well. All the ones I'm sure about all of them except for graziosos. Espressivo means expressively. Okay, does energico mean to bring energy? So yeah, pretty much. Oh, gradioso. Actually, it's gradioso. I thought it was grazioso. See what it says. Okay. Now let me just type in music definition. Is it grandioso? No, it's graziosos. Okay. Because I know what grandioso means. Graceful, smooth, and an elegant style. Ooh, okay, I was different on that. I thought it meant grand and loud and things like that. So, That was the one I wasn't quite sure of. Shout out to my friend who gave me the crappiest encouragement when I got my piano. He'll never learn to play it. He'll get tired of it real fast and he'll stop playing it. Man, you need to smack him up or smack her up. All right, let's see here. Almost a year later, and I'm still not tired of it. I play almost every day. That's fantastic, but I'm not good at it. You might be better than you think. Somewhere subconsciously, I have a real fear of failing. Well, don't, and forget whatever that friend told you. You know, so long as you're doing it for your own enjoyment, and so long as you're making progress in some way, you know, along the way, you've probably learned a song you've wanted to learn. You know, just think about the accomplishments you have. You know, and you might not be a concert level pianist, but hey, a lot of us aren't. And I'm not at this point. I'm definitely not, you know, as polished as I used to be in terms of memorizing pieces, at least. I think my sight reading skills are actually better than they were before, but that's because I'm sight reading for you guys. I'm sight reading for my other students. So the more you do something, the better you get. Set goals. We talked about this before in some other lessons. Set goals that make sense to you, not ones that make sense to others. So, you know, just say, I really want to learn Mary Had a Little Lamb. I've always, you know, I love that as a kid, and I want to learn that. So shoot for that. And you know, obviously, they want to be realistic of your own personal goals, not be like, I want to be the world's best pianist, and I'm already 30-some years old, which, you know, I am. So that probably wouldn't happen. Maybe if I tried as hard as I could and put every hour and every strength I had into it, maybe. Probably not, though. Not for me. I mean, I'm pretty decent at piano, but you know, you got to have realistic goals, in realistic, but also pushing yourself at the same time. It's a gentle balance. Okay, great question here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Let's see. Okay. The Bird says, hey Tim, I was wondering, how do you deal with stage fright for recitals? Great question. I have one coming up and I'm kind of nervous about it. Well, the first thing I have to tell you, which is probably not what you want to hear, although it is helpful, is that the more you do this type of thing, the better you're going to get. And inevitably, when you first start getting in front of people, it's going to be the hardest. Do the nerves ever go away? Not completely. Like, I'm still nervous sometimes when I'm doing something new I haven't done before, or putting myself out there in front of everybody. I get a little nervous. Still, not as nervous as I used to. Like I said, the more I've done it, the better I've gotten at it. So it's very, very normal. I think that should put you at ease a little bit. It's very, very normal what you're experiencing. Some practical things that will help you is envisioning your success. You know, you might read about this in a self-help book and it might sound cheesy, but honestly, instead of envisioning yourself, actually, this goes along with somebody I was just talking to here in the chat. Forget exactly what student it was. Instead of envisioning yourself failing, I think that's what a lot of people do. And I've done it to myself as well, where you're like, oh my goodness, it's going to be horrible. And, you know, it's going to fall apart and people are going to laugh at me. So instead of visualizing that kind of stuff and going over that in your head, visualizing like, okay, you know what? I really prepared for this. It's going to go great. It might not go perfect, but you know what? No matter what, I'm going to go out there and give it my best, and it's going to be good, you know, and I'm going to learn from this experience, and then I'm going to do even better next time, and just have a very positive growth. We call that the growth mindset, where you basically are looking at each experience as an opportunity to improve rather than looking at something as an end, being like, oh man, if I don't get this, I'm going to be in big trouble and, you know, I'm going to get laughed at. You got to say, you know what, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to do a great job, my best ability. And if things don't go perfect, which things never go perfect, you know, realistically, I'm going to get out there again and I'm going to do even better next time. So just, you know, tell yourself that over and over. Be positive yet realistic, because what might happen if you don't have that little bit of realism in there is you might be telling yourself, I'm going to do great, I'm going to do great, I'm going to do great. And you might not do as well as you've been telling yourself the whole time. And then you'll be extremely disappointed and it'll be over. Depends on what kind of person you are. But like I always tell myself, I'm going to do great. And if I don't, I'm going to just get back out there again and keep doing it. You know, if you look at my first videos, they aren't nearly as good as the most recent ones. And even like the times where I'm like, you know, I've really come a long way. Every once in a while, I'll put a lesson out there that I think is a stinker. I just like, oh, you know what? That was really like a step back for me. But you know what I'm going to do next time? I'm going to go out, I'm going to re-strategize, I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to go and do better on the next live stream or lesson or whatever I'm doing. So get that mentality in there. That will help you out. Realistic yet positive, because things will work out positive for you. You will do a good job. You're not going to totally bomb, at least probably not. And guess what? If you do, you're going to try again and do it again and get better and better and better. So have that in mind. The other thing with stage fright is some practical things. Get plenty of sleep leading up between now and your performance. Lack of sleep can wreak havoc on your mental state. I think a lot of people, especially in the States, are lacking in sleep, and some people know how important sleep is, but some people do not. Sleep is very, very important. On the day of your, and leading up to, but especially on the day of your performance, if you ingest caffeine or you smoke cigarettes, I don't smoke cigarettes because for obvious reasons to me anyway, but any kind of stimulant, caffeine, nicotine, anything like that, what you want to do though the day of your performance is, you know, you can still have a cup of coffee in the morning, but drink half or smoke half, I guess if you smoke cigarettes or whatever it may be, do half of whatever that is than you normally do. Really, I say to drink half a cup of coffee if you drink a full cup, is because if you're addicted to coffee, you might get a headache if you don't drink any. But the thing is that, and you may be saying, well, won't, you know, drinking as much coffee, that might not give me as much energy, that might affect me. Here's the thing, your nerves are going to do all the energy for you. They're going to do all the work for you. Seriously, you don't need any coffee that day, or very, very, very little, just to keep you going, you know. So no Red Bull, no, watch out for soda. You know, soda has caffeine in it. Watch out for chocolate. You know, some things you might not even realize if you're not a coffee drinker. You know, there's caffeine in some other foods. So those are just some practical things, you know, sleep, limiting caffeine, and just visualizing your success. And that's what I have to tell you, and that it will get easier for you as you get more a life experience in this type of thing. Okay, Lydian says, Boa, I'm not sure exactly what that is. Unfortunately, I do not speak Espanol, so I cannot read that, but thanks, you know, thanks for your support. Grace says, Tim, how do you make sure your foot doesn't slip off the pedal? All right, before I continue on more questions here, I want to get to something right now so I don't forget. So just give me a minute. Okay, students, I wanted to tell you that right now, only for a week only, there is a sale going on over on my website for my music courses. These courses can really help you learn a lot more about piano and music, more beyond what the YouTube channel can offer you. They have instructional videos in the same style of what you see over here on YouTube. Of course, they are exclusive to the website, but you're also going to get access to assignments, printable sheet music examples, activities and other things to enhance your learning, so that you're not only learning each topic, but you're reviewing, practicing, and mastering each topic. So like I said, it can take you to a much higher level. And if you take a look here, there are courses for beginner students, intermediate students, and advanced students. So whether you're just starting out or you've seen a lot of my lessons already, there's definitely a lot of material over there for you. If you go to the buy courses page, you can also get a deal buying courses in a pack, and those are discounted too during the sale. The sale ends on April 28th, so don't miss out. Don't wait, because you might miss this chance. So go to pianolessonsontheweb.com right now and, you know, take advantage of this offer. So like I said, if you like what you see over here on the channel, I wanted to tell you about this because I really think you're going to like this too. Okay, back here again. Let me give everybody like a link to my website real quick, and then I'll start answering more questions. I just wanted to make sure I got that in there. Oh, no super chat button, says Linda. Oh, man. Thanks, Tim. I'm going to take the advice and watch this before my recital as a little reminder. Perfect. Unless not sure how long this will stay up. Oh, so this will stay up. The recording will stay up indefinitely. So you'll be able to watch this well into, you know, before leading up to your recital. Well, we'll be doing the live stream for 1 hour, but there's the recording. It's at the same link you're at now. If you come back to the link, you'll be able to watch the recording of the whole thing. I think it happens right after we're done, or as soon as we're done, you'll be able to watch the recording. Hey, Hannah, how you doing? Welcome out to our live stream. Happy you could come out with us today. And anybody who's coming out, especially for the first time, we meet Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're always welcome to come back and join us. Any recommendations on essential apps to have, says Laredo. I love StaffPad. That's really the only app that I can vouch for, because I don't use a lot of piano apps. I've heard that the Teoria app, Teoria app, is very good. I think Rich said that one was good. That one has a bunch of practice things going, or practice activities and things like that. So those are the two that I recommend. Are Teoria and StaffPad. StaffPad's a music composition software. It's a software that I use to write pretty much everything in terms of music notes. So let me bring it up on this screen here. There we go. So yeah, this is StaffPad. There we go. So, you know, I can write music in and play it back and all kinds of things. Missed my question, says Rashad. I apologize, Rashad. Let's take a look here. Sorry I didn't answer somebody's question. Yeah, the super chat button is the money one. Okay, I didn't answer your question. Tim, what do you do if you forget your song at a performance? So do you just pick it up? Okay, so this is a good question. Okay, so if you forget your song during a performance, if you just freeze or whatever, what you should be doing when you're learning your pieces or getting them ready for your concert is go through the piece and pick out some restart points. So points where you can go back to, even if it's a page back. You don't want to start back from the beginning if you can help it. Now, you might have to. If it totally bombs, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to start this thing over. That's not that bad of a strategy, but you want to be picking, especially with longer pieces, you know, maybe like, okay, you know what, it's really easy for me to come back in here on page 2, line 3, so I'm just going to practice the memory on that, that section a lot. So, like, if I mess up, and then actually when you're practicing for your recital, you know, purposely mess up and then say, okay, where can I start again? It's like, okay, I can start from there rather than the beginning. So always have these little checkpoints in your head. Like with video games, I don't know if you play video games, but, you know, if you're in a video game and you die, you go back to the last checkpoint. So you want to have these checkpoints in your mind of where you can start over again. That's the biggest advice I have for that. Thank you, man, says Marianne. You're very welcome. Tim, I like the old ones. I learned a piece pretty well and out the pedal, and then I added the pedal. It was almost like starting over. Yeah, so not everybody gets the pedal so easily. That's for sure. If there was a place in your area like a mall where there's a piano, okay, I think you're answering somebody else there, Fireflower. Play for family first is a great way to do it. Thanks, Tim. I'm going to take the advice. Okay. It will be up forever. Okay. Hey, Richard Raff is here. How you doing, Richard? I haven't seen you in the class in a while. So happy you could come out and say hello. We're about to wrap up anyway, but yeah, thanks for coming out and saying hi. It's been a while. I had a question too, but that's okay if you can't answer it today. I'm sorry I'm missing questions, everybody. We actually have a lot of questions coming in tonight, which is fine. Let's see. Let me get to Rashad. Where are you, Rashad? Oh, Rashad says a grand piano is a whole different experience. Okay, that's not a question. Where are you at? Really? I didn't get to your question? Unfortunately, Rashad, I don't see it. Wait. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm definitely not going to be able to get to everybody's question. I apologize. We just have too many people in attendance, which is a fantastic thing. So I'm gonna take a look at Laredo really quick. I could not find some of the questions referenced above because there's just too many. How to use half pedals? Okay, good. Thank you for bringing that up again. How to use half pedals? Well, you just have your pedal half down. And you might use that for things like where you want to blend together the notes a little bit, but not too much. That's really all there is to it. Ditto, Richard. Okay, Karen's here. Oh, how you doing, Karen? I did drop off before I started class again. Okay, video catch up it is. Hello, Karen. Welcome out. I'm so happy you could join us at least at the tail end here. Okay, truly appreciate it. You missed my question of vocabulary though. The one on differences between minuet, sonata, prelude. You know, I'd have to go into a lesson all on its own for that. I'm going to go over that really quick, like as a general thing. So all the words you listed there are types of pieces. They all have a certain number of pages that not certain number of pages, but a certain number of movements, like different. They're generally like collections of a bigger collection of pieces. Like a sonata, for instance, is really 3 smaller pieces in one. You have your, what is it, fast, slow, fast? Or is it slow, fast, slow? I think it's the first movement's fast. Yeah, that's right. The second movement's a little bit slower, and then the third one can sometimes be really fast, but it's usually fast as well. So fast, slow, fast. So each of those things that you mentioned each have its own kind of purpose. Like for instance, an etude is like a practice piece that helps you practice a certain thing, like a fingering pattern or something like that. A prelude's another piece. It's like an introduction piece to another one. I've basically gone through all of these now, but I really want to make a lesson on those to drill into those in detail. Hey, all right. Says Sleepy rather sheepishly. So, all right, everybody, we're in the last 5 minutes. If I missed your question and you really wanted me to answer it, ask it now, so long as it's, not like something that I can't answer in this amount of time. Rashad says, how do I balance different styles? Okay, I've been playing jazz, funk, neo-soul. Those are all good. As well as film music for piano and video games. How do you balance different styles? Do you mean, like... I'm not entirely sure what you mean by, like, do you mean, like, how do you balance your hands for each? Because if so, you're going to want to play out the melody more than anything. Good night, Tim. See you next time. Yeah, so Rashad, if you could elaborate on that a little bit more. I'm just not sure what you mean by how do I balance the different styles. I'm not sure whether it mean like how do you practice, fit in the practice for each one, or I'm not sure. Sonata Allegro form is exposition. Yep. Development and then recapitulation. Yes, so Sonata Allegro. Yep. So those are the fancier terms for that. But that's within each movement. So each movement has an exposition, development, and recap. And there's 3 of them in total. If I'm remembering that right, I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I don't know how you do it. It's only 5:55 p.m. here, so it's pretty easy. Yeah, some people are in the middle of the night here. But I appreciate everybody coming out here. Okay, like theory for each of them. Okay, are they different or the same? Because once you learn piano, you can play anything. Okay. The theory behind all of those are a little bit different. Now, all the things you mentioned, jazz, funk, neo-soul, and then a lot of music for movies and video games, you're going to be talking about more of a contemporary music theory. So basically, it's not just standard 3-note triads, like if you have rock music. You have a very standard chord progression going on. These ones are going to use like maybe 7th chords, like jazz, neo-soul, things like that. So they're going to be using more modern music theory. And then let's see, are they different or the same? So the theory between them's a little bit different for each one. One thing I want you to get out of this, because this will be something I'd have to make a lesson on each one of those, talking about each different thing, is that what you need to know is that for each genre of music, whether it's one of the ones you listed or it's classical or anything, what makes up a genre of music is the following: the types of chords it uses, the types of melody it uses, the types of rhythms that are used. I think rhythm is probably one of the biggest determining factor of different types of music. So if you had say you had this bass line, and I'm just playing it straight 8th notes. It doesn't sound like much, but say I wanted to play it in a tango style. I have literally the same notes. I'm just adding a kind of a tango flair to that by adding in that kind of rhythm. So that alone, a lot of times rhythm alone will change a song to sound like a certain style. But you just know that rhythms, chords, and the different melodies that are used all determine what type of genre of music it is. Grace says, how long have I been doing this? Great question. I've been learning piano for over 25 years now. I went to Westchester School of Music in 2006, graduated in 2010. I started teaching in 2011, and I've been teaching locally around my area since then up until, now I'm, still doing it. In terms of the YouTube channel, we started March something, I don't remember exactly what date, 2013. So we're about on 5 years now. Should have done a 5-year anniversary, but we did the 50,000 subscriber thing anyway, which was last summer-ish. Also, yeah. So Carol says, Carol has a good point. If you go to my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, you can find, there's an About Me page where you can watch or read more about me. There's the clips from my senior recital I played, so if you want to see me playing something in action, then go there. If I learned the pedal after learning the piece, it's like starting over. Yeah, so it can be like starting over for some people. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to cash out of here right now, and because we are at the hour. Thanks, everybody, for coming. What is it, Friday? I'm going to see you again on Sunday. If you want to know what we're talking about and when, This is also found on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. So, when you first go to the website, it'll bring you to this page. Just on the top toolbar, go to where it says community, click on that. And then one thing I recommend is if you fill out this box here, you're going to get an email reminder 30 minutes before we meet. But if you scroll down a little bit further, this is the calendar of what we're talking about and when. So you can see that on Sunday, we're going to be talking about, it's the second part of our music composition lesson we had a couple weeks ago. It's about creating, actually, it's about what I just talked about genre of music and creating rhythm for the chords that you have to create a certain style that you're going for. And I'm going to show you more about how to do that. And then the following week, next week, we're talking about the metronome and then exercises to help you move your hands long distances. So I highly recommend you check out that community page if you want to learn what's coming up and what we're going to be talking about and when. Thanks for the awesome lesson, Tim. You're very welcome, Tanny. Thanks for coming out once again. Rashad says, can you make a different video on the different genre and composers, kind of like Rick Beato? You know what? I'm really thinking about doing that. The answer is yes, I can do that. Absolutely. Okay, thank you, everybody. Good night to you all, and have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody. And, yeah, no problem, Karen, if you are falling asleep. I know that you have a lot on your plate. Let's see. Good night, Carol. Shad says, thanks. Great class. Thank you very much, Carol. And everybody. Bernadine, thanks for coming out as your first time. You're always welcome back to come back to our classroom. Happy to have you out today. All right, everybody, have a great day. Remember that there is a sale going on courses over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. It expires about a week from today-ish on the 28th, so you don't want to wait because you might miss out. Time to say night-night, though, except now I'm wide awake. That always happens, doesn't it, Karen? Well, thanks for coming out, Karen, and everybody else. I'll try to fix my super chat button, says Linda. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks from Bangor, Maine. I saw your comment up above, Fuddy Duddy. Thanks for coming out, and glad to have you. Hopefully it's warming up in Bangor for you. It's slowly warming up here, not as much as I would like. Thanks, Tim. We'll catch up while you're sleeping. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you on Sunday.